It's 7 Abiram Chaganti. It is currently 3:52 p.m. on February 15th, and I'm in the communal kitchen of my dorm building. This is the only place where I could find that there was no one around. This video is going to be shorter than my other videos because I just want to talk about what I've been doing, where I've been. Haven't been posting as much on TikTok, Instagram, and it's because I've been doing a lot of creative work this week. My mind hasn't really been on school or like anything like that. I've been making a lot of clothing designs, a lot of music, and a bunch of other cool creative stuff. This is gonna be the first video where in the post editing process, I'm gonna put in some images and like kind of talk about them, like voiceover. So let's start in 3, 2, 1. Okay, now you guys should be seeing the palette. So this is it's kind of like, think of it as like rules to follow for myself. I wouldn't really call them rules because that's like too strict for me, you know what I'm saying? But the idea here is that these are kind of like guidelines, for lack of better term. These are guidelines that I want to follow from a brand perspective, and it's also my branding, right? Like my approach to branding myself. So here I just talk about my logos, what went into them, and I really wanted to reflect my personality here, right? Because I do want to capture professionalism and all that, but I want it to have thematics as well. I don't want it to feel too corporate. I still want it to feel personable, which is why in here you can see I talk about, my emotional driven side and more like a logical brain, and how I tried to incorporate that because I find that's such a key part of my personality. And I talk about this in the page, but people would call this minimalism. Some would. I don't really like to call it that because, if anything, I think I'm more maximalist. Like I have an album called Maxima after all, but like apart from that, I think I really do try hard with things. Like I watched a video today, and it just talked about how the art of trying hard has became forgotten, and I really do. If someone calls me a tryhard, I really would like take that as a compliment. So that kind of leads into the music I've been making. So apart from this palette, let's put a pause on this. I have this project in mind that I'm working through like the drafting process of, but I have a really good idea, and I've made some songs already for it, but it's called Trial and Error. And you know how I talked about like trying hard and all that and whatever, right? This trial and error to me is like me unapologetically, aggressively trying to step into something different from my previous works and how I'm navigating through that. And also, I would say thematically, to keep it blunt, it's me talking a lot of shit, but I'll tell you why. It's because in periods of my life, when I'm lacking confidence, I do tend to come off as like braggadocious, arrogant, because that's what's like fueling. That's like almost like the drug you take, right? It's like people need Adderall to focus. Well, sometimes like I'll be cocky to keep confident. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what this trial and error thing is about. And to capture this like, aesthetically, I really wanted to dive into these like different tones separate from the Maxima album, where it was like a lot of like dark reds, like purples, things like that. It was more like a nightclub sort of vibe. But this one, I just think of like, I'm not really sure the words to describe it. It's kind of just like, like a feeling of power, I guess. A feeling of I guess adrenaline, like feeling willing to risk it all sort of things. And that's why in the subject matter you'll see I talk a lot of shit, because I'm willing to risk all that. I'm willing to risk, put the reputation on the line, put the image on the line, perception on the line, just to try new things. And that might cause some consequences. It will cause some consequences. So that's why it's called trial and error. So that's something I've been doing. Now we're going to talk about my clothes I've been designing. So I really like designing clothes, right? That sounds very simply put, but I'll tell you why I make it so blanket is because the idea of, I'm trying to build a brand right now, right? Building Worlds. And the whole idea of it is like, it's supposed to even liberate me as a designer and people who design for it or think of ideas for it, because like I want to make new worlds through the clothing, right? Like, for example, like a banker and the day in the life he goes through, or, like a homeless person, like the day in the life they go through. Like, these are all different perceptions of the world, but individually they're different worlds of the same collective one that we live in. So that's kind of the idea of the brand. But the reason why I say I just like making clothes is because I have other ideas that are related to like high fashion more and luxury wear. So I want to design for those as well. But here you'll see is I'm really trying to dive into personifying images. That's been my thing in design lately is I love functional design, like coming up with fabrics and stuff, like, or thinking of what fabrics to use, the sizing, the drape and the fit, all that. But in these designs, what you're seeing is like me really trying to take concepts from our world. Like here we have the off the grid hoodie, and I have another hoodie that it's like a heartbreak hoodie, and it's taking seemingly ubiquitous phrases and saying and concepts and imagery from our world, and it's putting them in a different place to tell a certain type of story, personifying them, right? So that's what these designs are about. But I'm really focused on also making other more constructed designs, like different types of construction, like like cable knit sweaters and things like that, more luxury wear. So expect to see more of that. But that's basically it this week. I've just been in a flow, you know what I mean? Like creatively, I've been in a flow, bro. And what it's led me to not focus on things that I should be focusing on, like school. I'm barely scraping by, but that's what tends to happen, right? Is like when you really care about something, like everything kind of shuts off, and that's kind of what I'm going through right now. And the challenge here this week and going forward is to be able to coexist with all those things. Still put the same amount of effort and passion into what I'm doing, but also take care of what needs to be taken care of. And yeah, that's it for this week, guys. And with that being said, Abhiram Chaganti